Peace TV English, the solution for humanity.
Forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star, your supreme protector is Almighty Allah. Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are. Press forward and forward to the light of Allah, and repeat, Alhamdulillah. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our program, Teens and Parents. I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem. And in this show, we're going to be discussing how we can bridge the gap between parents and, who else, of course, teens. You notice the name of the show. Well, we have a very special guest who's going to be joining us here today. And he is a psychologist who will help us to understand some of these topics, insha'Allah ta'ala. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back in just a few short seconds, and we will continue with teens and parents. Don't go away.
So it has to do with society you live in to an extent, because if you go to the more developing and third world countries, they're not going to be spending all their time on the internet. Maybe the families, they're going to be doing more family activities. So you can either be a family who supports, you set limits on your kids. A lot of people, they let it go to the point where they can't set a limit anymore on how much TV their kids are watching, how much computer they're using. So I think that's the biggest obstruction to a family bond.
Welcome back. Let's begin our program. Teens and Parents, that's the name of the program. But what are we going to talk about tonight? Of course, we're going to talk about teens and parents. But the topic we're going to be discussing tonight is, what do teens want? What do parents want from their teens? This is the topic we're going to be discussing here today. But since I'm not really a doctor, not a sheikh, who really wants to listen to my comments? Well, don't worry about it. We've got somebody here that is worthy to be listened to, insha'Allah ta'ala. Let me introduce my first guest. He is a psychologist who practices in the United States, also in Egypt and other parts around the world. He is Dr. Yasser Al-Ma'anawi. And I would like to greet you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Dr. Yasser, we've got some problems.
Already?
Already.
Okay.
And we need you to help us to solve them. This is why you're here. Tonight, we're going to be discussing about teens.
Yes.
Okay? They're not children anymore. And they're certainly not grown-ups just yet, even though they think that they are.
For sure.
So then the question goes out. What do teens want?
Well, teens want a lot of things. But some of them are validation, acceptance. They want to be heard from the parents. They want their freedom. They want their independence. I can go on and on and on and on. And this is where the problem starts. If you ask any teenager, what's the nature of your relationship with your parents? He or she are going to tell you, well, my parents don't listen to me. My parents, when they speak to me, they speak at me. They don't speak to me. And their relationship is just not there. They do not understand. They are from a different world. They're from a different generation. So at this point, you have a break in the relationship. To build a relationship, that starts from way before teenage. And at the same time, when teens are growing, parents are growing with them. So the relationship takes a different shape. Teenagers become more independent, and parents have to learn to become more independent as well, meaning that they have to let their teenagers be independent. They're not the little kids that they once were before.
Okay, I want to make sure we can get the full benefit and understand this. What exactly does "they talk at me" really means? What does that mean? And what does "they talk to me"? What's the difference? And if you can give us an example.
Talking at somebody is when you do this, don't do that. Why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? It's always accusatory. There is an accusation in there. Talking to somebody has more acceptance, has more love, has more understanding. When you have a conversation, give and take. It's a two-way street. That's the difference between talking at somebody or talking to somebody. And then the other side of that is when somebody's talking, the other person is listening. So now, teenagers would tell you parents are not listening. Why? Because the parents have like a preconception about what they want from their children. And if they don't get it, then they get upset. Or they say, well, there's something wrong with you. I don't know what's the matter with you. Or right away they start saying, well, are you doing drugs or something? What's going on here? So teenagers feel like they're not being listened to. Parents don't listen. They just have a box, and they want to fit the teenager in the box. And that's a problem in there.
Okay, so we're not connecting with the children in this day and age. Like you said, we're seeing these through, life through a different lens. You're seeing black, your son or daughter is seeing white. I mean, how are we going to get back onto the same page? Because as long as we have this is a difference of perception. Because the father is saying, I specifically asked you to come home at 8 p.m. You came home at 10. I'm not happy. Right now, I don't want to talk with you. I want to talk at you. Is he justified in that?
He is and he's not. This is what I call a communication breakdown. Because if my son, for instance, hypothetically speaking, he's supposed to come home at 8 and he came home at 10. First, I have to inquire and ask him, what was the problem? Why weren't you home at 8? After I asked him, are you okay? Is everything all right? That gives him the feeling that I'm concerned about him. I'm not only concerned about the rules and regulations. And then after we clear the whole thing up, then I'll tell him, okay, you're either excused or you're not excused. The choice is mine at that point. If he gave me a good excuse why he was late, then I understood. Okay, that's fine. If he made a minor mistake, it's up to me whether to excuse him or not. Okay, and it's better at this point to excuse him if he's done nothing wrong and this is his first time. But then if it's reoccurring, then something has to happen. Okay, but you find most parents at this point, they tell you, okay, without even listening. I told you to come at 8, you came at 10, next week you're not going out. Just like that. So that is not possible. That breaks down the communication. It breaks down the relationship. You didn't actually try to draw him on your side. You pushed him away from you.
I heard a concept or heard of a concept that's called understanding before being understood. I think you've probably heard of this before. Tell us, how can we equate this with the communication problem that parents and teens are obviously having? Remember, it's a two-way street. How can we apply this rule?
What happens is that I have to understand where are they coming from. Okay, I have to understand the life that they are living. Okay, the good, the bad, and the ugly, everything. And at the same time, I have to explain to them the good from my point of view. Then it's a discussion that we're taking there. It's actually more than that, because I show them my way of life, they show me their way of life, even though I don't need to see it because I don't agree with it. Okay, but I'm not going to be able to make them or draw them in my side unless if I go down to their level and pull them up with me. That's the only way. There is no other way. I know a lot of parents who would punish their teenagers. It doesn't do anything. Punishment meaning grounding them, or they end up doing whatever they want to do anyway.
So what happens when, and it's common, the parents get caught in a loop and the children get caught in a loop. Nobody's listening.
Mm-hmm.
This one will come home. Why did you come home late? Oh, Mama, you're always on my back. Get off my back. Don't talk to me like that. And then it just continues.
Yes.
When it's like this, there's no communication. How can you get back on track?
You get back on track by letting go of the anger, simply by breaking the cycle. You have to get out of the cycle. How do you do that? Instead of the kids coming home and you staying home, why did you come late, and you start the whole thing all over again, take them out for a change and speak with them while you're out. Change the scenery of the whole situation. Change the way you speak to them. Maybe they will understand. Because, you see, it's just like somebody would hit his head in the wall 10 times and then will say, okay, I'm going to hit it now the 11th time and it's not going to hurt me. It doesn't make any sense, you see. So parents have to change what they're doing if it's not working out. It's their job. It's not the child's job. It's not the teenager's job. It's the parent job.
Okay, Dr. Yasser, you might be right. I said might.
I might.
Okay, now we have a teenager here. He's going to help us to understand the other side of it. You know, you and I, we're not teens anymore.
No.
So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break. We're going to bring the other side of this argument here. Hopefully we can get some clarity and some understanding. I'm Bilal, Abdul, Kareem. Teens and parents, come back in just a few short minutes, inshallah.
Family bond is getting around the television, you know, watching the Super Bowl or watching TV every night. And I mean, sometimes it's okay, fine, you watch a movie as a family, but I mean, 3-4 hours a day, this has become the only family activity, you know, or the computer. So, I don't know, the way to strengthen it possibly is to have a common relationship, I mean, common goals. One hindrance I would say of myself and my parents is we don't see eye to eye on many issues. I don't need to go into more detail, but when you don't have a common outlook on life and school and everything like that, I mean, you're going to have this unstable relationship. And, you know, one side has to try their hardest. So, but I would say the main factor in the destruction of the family life would be the outcome of this television and entertainment industry, the digital industry, which is kind of, you know, I think that's the biggest obstruction to a big family bond. And they even say once families have dinner together, you know, the kids, they'll stay away from things like drugs and sex and so on and so forth. But now, okay, the dinners are killed because the kids are going upstairs eating on the computer and their dinner plate on the table in front of them.
Forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها.
Soothing verses, awakening contents.
Unlock your hearts. Let us start to reflect and interact with the glorious Quran through simple and interactive grammar exercises.
هو هم أنت أنتم أنا نحن.
Explore the secrets of success that exist in the blessed lines of the Holy Quran.
Using what you recite every day and night, learn 250 words that occur 55,000 times, or 70% words of the Quran. Let's understand the Quran.
Let's join Dr. Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahim in Let's Understand the Quran every Saturday at 4 p.m. and repeat telecast at 2:30 a.m. UK on Peace TV.
Forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Teens and Parents. We have our other guest here. We have a young man who is from America, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. His name is Taha Thompson, and I would like to greet you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Mr. Taha, where are you from?
Virginia, America.
I mean, we know by now you're from America, but where in America?
Virginia, Norfolk.
Norfolk, Virginia. Okay. You've heard some of the things that Doctor has been saying and all, and so we want to get your side of it. Let me ask you a question. Point blank question. What do teens want from their parents?
Respect. Freedom. They don't want to be controlled. I guess you could say everything almost.
Everything. Okay. Are we talking at him yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Not yet. Try hard.
You're on one side, I'm on the other side. He's in the hot seat. Okay, listen, Taha, you just bear with us for a little bit because we're here because we want to understand. Okay, you say you want freedom and you don't want to be controlled. This is what teens want from their parents. Now, my question to you is this. What do you think that parents want from you? What do you believe that they want?
They want you to respect them, of course. You know, to be a good kid, grow up, you know, go to school, get a good degree, good grades, hang out with good friends, stay away from bad things, and like that.
Okay, can I probe a little bit deeper? They want you to be a good kid. What does that entail? What's a good kid?
You know, someone who listens, like, doesn't do bad, stays away from bad things, or at least tries to. And, you know, doesn't hang out with the wrong group because you turn out like them. I guess that's it.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you about communication. Let's say that you said, Pop, Dad, Baba, or whatever, you say, I want to go out with my friends. And we're just going to go hang out and just, you know, do the things that young people do. I guess we'll get into that in a few more minutes. But you say, I want to go out. He says, okay, Taha, it's not a problem. But make sure you are here by Maghrib. He's smiling already. I think he's seen this before. Maghrib comes and you haven't arrived. You're late. You know you're late. But you were having such a good time, the party just kicked off half an hour before Maghrib, can't leave now. Guess I'm just going to have to take some verbal lashings. Because it's clear what time you're supposed to be back. Come on now, you understand the way the situation goes.
Yeah.
Now you walked into the house. Now we've been discussing this issue of talking with you and talking at you. So my question would be, how would you like for your father or mother to handle that situation? You've just come home. It's now Isha time. The door opens and in you step.
I'd like to be talked to, not at.
No, it's not going to be that easy. What would you like for him to say? Can I pause for a second here? Dr. Yes, I'm going to bring you in on this thing, if I can. But I'm going to take away your doctor title and all of your degrees. You are now Taha.
I'm Taha.
You're Taha.
Okay.
And Taha is the father.
Yeah.
You've come home late. And you've heard the story. Now, Taha, there he is. What do you say to him?
Why were you late? You're supposed to be here at Maghrib. You're grounded for a week.
Just like that. Just hear me out. I had a reason.
But
Can I just tell you what I had? Can I tell you what happened?
You're supposed to be here at
But Dad, this is like we just started. Like it was after Maghrib already, and we just started.
It's not my fault. You should have been home at Maghrib.
But I couldn't leave. They were all my friends over there, and I couldn't leave.
Okay, time out. Okay, Taha, don't hit him. Okay, what we have here now, would that be the way that you would want for your parents to deal with you in this circumstance?
No.
It wouldn't be, would it?
No.
Now, let's redo this thing all over again, and you deal with Taha in the way you would wish for your parents to deal with you. How would that be? So you're going to be the parent, and he's going to be the child. What way would you want them to approach you? You've just closed the door now. He's standing in front of you. You're the parent. How would you want to be dealt with in this issue? Now, when I count to 3, I don't want you to do a lot of thinking about it. I just want you to now respond to him. He's closed the door now. Now, when I get to 3, you start, okay? 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, what took you so long? You're supposed to be here at Maghrib.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dad.
Anything happened? Are you in trouble?
No, not really. It's just the party didn't start until Maghrib time. And we did pray together, and then we sat down together, so the time just went by, and I didn't know. Before I knew it, it was Aisha time. So I came home running.
Okay, you're dismissed.
Thank you. Can I go out again?
Okay, now. Okay, this is good. Now, this is the way that you would want to be dealt with, right?
Yeah.
Good. We like that. That was on Monday. It's Wednesday. Dad, I would like to go out to go and be with some of my friends again. Now, what time did you say to be home? Maghrib time. Okay. We've got a good understanding here. Everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
All right. So out Taha goes, hops on the bike, and he's out with his friends. They're not having a good time. It's Asr time. The other guys couldn't come outside, it rained, or whatever the deal was. It's about 45 minutes before Maghrib. And then, hey, there's so-and-so, and he's with so-and-so. And the party's just starting. It's 20 minutes before Maghrib, and it's raging strong. Okay. Taha comes in late again. Couldn't leave the party. Party was too good. Okay. He just walked through the door. And this is what happens. We're not exaggerating. Because what happens when the problem comes in is when it becomes a reoccurring thing. So now it's become a reoccurring thing. There's an issue at hand. Okay? Keep in mind that you have to deal with and keep your family on the straight path. With me?
Yes.
Your obligation is to see that your father has as many gray hairs as he can possibly have on his head. On 3, we're going to take it again. Deal with young Taha the way you would want to be dealt with. 1, 2, 3, go.
Well, what happened? What took you so long this time?
Oh, Dad, the same thing happened. I was about to come home, and we really didn't do anything. It was after Asr time, and then it started like 20 minutes before Maghrib.
But this keeps happening.
But I'm sorry, Dad. I wouldn't do it again, I promise.
But this time we're going to have to punish you. You're not going to be able to play with your friends this time.
Can you just let me go one more time? I promise I wouldn't do it again.
I don't know. You might get punished. Maybe you have to clean the kitchen or something.
Okay. But does that mean I'll go out again?
Yes.
After I clean the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay, Dad. Whoa.
Okay, now let's time this out.
That's too easy.
Now, Dr. Yasser, you're going to have to analyze this thing.
Okay.
Listen, I want to tell you guys a quick joke. There was a man, and there was a concept that if the party is going strong, and you were supposed to be home by midnight, and your parents told you, be home by midnight, but the party didn't start until 11:30, everybody understands this. So then you sit there and you say, you know what? I know I'm going to get in trouble. But I'm not going to show up late at 1 a.m. I'm going to take a 5 a.m. beating. Because if I'm going to take a beating, I'm going to have a blast. Because I'm not going to be able to come out again for the next year. Well, okay. Inshallah, we're going to have to conclude our episode here. Taha, I want to thank you a lot for coming. And if I asked you, you think you might come back again?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Dr. Yasser, as always, it's a pleasure, having you here. Well, we're going to wrap up this particular session of Teens and Parents. We hope that you got some benefit from what we discussed here today. I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem. I want to thank you all for joining us, and I would like to say to you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star. Your supreme protector is Almighty Allah. Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are. Press forward and forward to the light of Allah, and repeat, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
Although Christianity doesn't have a single credible source to justify her claims of the crucifixion, she yet continues to propagate her myth. They do this by hiding many of their deceptions behind cleverly designed doctrines. Did you know that Christianity stands or falls at the cross? So how did they do this? Join me for this series called The Cross Questions.
Probe the past that proves Christianity in practice is fictitious in The Cross Questioned. Every Monday at 6 p.m. and repeat telecast at 5:30 a.m. UK on Peace TV.
Today, one of the most common misconceptions in the world about Islam is that Islam was fed by the sword. But the noted historian, Bilal, has a different opinion in his book, Islam at the Crossroads, on page number 8. He says that history makes it clear, however, that the legend of fanatical Muslims sweeping through the world and forcing Islam at the point of the sword upon conquered races is one of the most fantastically absurd myths that the historians have ever repeated.
The value of money in the hereafter will be measured by its proper use in the present.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة.
According to the glorious Quran, one of the best ways to use your money is to spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by spreading His message of Islam. Peace TV is a non-profit Islamic satellite